Welcome to Business Studies, a marking scheme for a model paper that was done by Form 4s on 10th of December 2020. This is the top structure of the paper. We will look at the questions from question 1 up to question 25, since paper 1 consists of short answer questions that give a total of 100 marks, and each question mainly has or consists of 4 marks. So we look at various questions together with the expected answers, and we start. Number 1, Amboseli Enterprises had been spending heavily on promotion for its products, though its sales have consistently declined. Outline 4 measures that the company would take to reverse the trend. That is, to reverse the trend of declining sales, even if it has been spending on promotion, that is advertising, sales promotion, public relations, PR, etc. So, the expected answers are that Amboseli Enterprises would reduce the price of its products so that it can attract more customers. Then it can overhaul its business plan. It can rebrand the company. Probably the brand has had a bad name in the public. It can also pay attention to the customer loyalty and feedback to get to know why customers are not buying. You can also try to merge with existing companies so that that synergy can give it some strength to sell its products. It can also start new product lines or branches or products so that it can add on what it has to boost sales. It can also improve on working conditions of the salespeople or motivate them. Probably that is where the problem is. Or it can study competitors' strategies and use them or adapt them so that it can boost its sales. Question number 2. Outline 4 reasons why an increase in per capita income may not necessarily lead to a rise in standards of living of citizens. Per capita income is an average. It is the average of the income per person in a country, everybody. If the income of a country is, let's say, 2 trillion, and we have 30 million persons or people in a country, that 2 trillion is divided amongst the 30 million people. Some are working, others are not. That is something that one needs to note about per capita income. So, if per capita income increases, that is the average income per person in a country increases, that may not translate into a rise or an improvement in standards of living of those people. So, what are the expected answers, or what might have caused that? What are the reasons? There may be an equal distribution of resources to all citizens, such that some may benefit, others may not benefit. 2, this situation may be as a result of increased productivity by a few industries or individuals. This may have been caused by many citizens who may be unemployed, but remember, everybody shares the total income so that we arrive at the average income or per capita income. It may be as a result of increase in taxes. So the income of the country, total income, may increase due to increase in taxes. That means people will have less disposable income to use or consume, so that may not translate into improvement in standards of living. Then the per capita income is just an average and hence a mere statistic. It looks at everybody. Everybody shares even if they do not work, including a 1-day-old child. Another reason may be that those involved in income generating activities may be few. So those not involved in generating the income are also included, and they may not even be getting any income. So their standards of living will not increase or rise. The spending pattern of the government or even individuals will also come in handy. The government may spend where it is not improving standards of living of its citizens. Number 3, management of national debt, credit control, and lender of last resort are some of the functions the central bank has. Match these functions with the statements given below. Statement, function. So 1, repayment of government securities as they mature. These securities are treasury bills, treasury bonds, Eurobond, e.t.c. So when they or the government repays those securities, it is trying to manage national debt. It has individuals, companies, and governments or other foreign governments' debts that it is trying to manage by repaying. Receipt of treasury bills to secure loans. Remember, we have said these securities are treasury bills, treasury bonds, Eurobonds, etc. When the government receives them so that it can secure loans, then it is managing the national debt. Then we have directing commercial banks on the preferred sectors to lend money to. Selective credit control, that is what it is called. So that is under credit control. Then we have increase in reserve ratio. The central bank would increase the money it has by requiring banks to bring in a higher ratio. That means the banks will have less money to lend out to companies and individuals or the citizens. That will translate into credit control. Number 4, country X has been experiencing an upward trend in the price of petrol as a result of rising inflation. State 4 steps that can be taken to minimize expenditure on this product. So, the price of petrol has been increasing due to inflation. So, how can a country minimize or control expenditure on this product? A country can advocate for use of alternative sources of energy like diesel, kerosene, solar, hydroelectric power, where applicable or possible. That will reduce importation of petrol and also the price of petrol or spending on petrol. Then we have increased prices of machinery that use petrol. That would dissuade people from buying machines that use petrol, hence reducing the petrol and the costs involved in buying petrol. We have controlling or limiting the number of machines that use petrol. That would also reduce petrol intake in a country. Advocating the use of electric cars instead of cars that use petrol. Pooling of transport. Instead of one person using one vehicle, people from the same direction, like 2, 3, 4, can use the same vehicle and will reduce on petrol use. Then use of other means of transport that do not use petrol. For example, trains, buses, and lorries will reduce petrol costs. Banning or limiting use of personal vehicles, because most personal vehicles use petrol. Use of fuel-efficient machines and vehicles. You may use machines and vehicles that use petrol, but they do not use a lot. So you reduce on the cost of fueling or running those machines and vehicles. Reduce importation of petrol or ban petrol-driven engines or vehicles from outside the country. Question number 5. State 4 reasons why it is important for a business to keep financial records. 1. To minimize use of available resources. 2. To compare the performance of the business in different periods. 3. To gauge the performance with similar businesses or your competitors. 4. To control wastage. 5. As a requirement by the government or financiers that you must keep proper financial records so that your strength to borrow is gauged. 6. To avoid dissolution or collapse of the business. 7. To determine dividends to distribute or pay out to shareholders. And 8. To control stock movement in the business. Number 6, highlight the purpose of each of the following documents. So we have the delivery note, debit note, an invoice, and a statement of account. So a delivery note is used to inform the buyer about the goods being delivered or being sent to him, the courier service that is delivering those goods as agreed with the supplier. 2. Debit note. It is used to correct an undercharge or correct an undercasted invoice. You may have sold goods worth than 100,000 and then write an invoice of 90,000. So you need to raise or write a debit note to cover the 10,000 that had not been requested for. So it is also called an additional invoice. An invoice. This is a document used by a seller to demand payment for goods sold on credit to a debtor. Then you have a statement of account. It shows details of all the transactions that have taken place between the seller and the buyer for a certain period of time, usually 1 month or 1 year. It depends, so that you can see how you've spent money or what you've bought at a certain period of time. Juma, a newly employed teacher, has joined Mwalimu SACCO in Bugoma. Outline 4 benefits of membership to the society, not just advantages. How will Juma benefit? This is personal. It's not about the SACCO, it's about Mwalimu Juma. So 1, he will obtain loans or credit at low interest rates than other financiers. 2, he will have the benefit of saving money, which will also earn high interest than other financing institutions will offer. 3, the shares contributed or accumulated act as security for loans or credit if Juma wants to obtain a loan. 4, he will earn dividends from the shares that he has accumulated in the SACCO. 5, the business allows him to participate in management of the business on equal footing with other existing members, even if they have higher share contribution, and many other answers. Question number 8. Redraft the following balance sheet correcting any mistakes. Remember, balance sheet should balance, that is, assets should be equal to liabilities and capital. So we have debtors, capital, creditors, computers, cash, stock, cooperative loan, bank overdraft, and we have the totals here. It's not even balancing. So we redraw this balance sheet and we balance it. So KIP's balance sheet as at 31st August 2010. We have 3 lines for the title. So on one side you present assets, on the other side you present liabilities and capital. You can also present liabilities and capital on this side and assets on this side. Remember, we don't write DR or CR. This is not an account, although it takes the shape of an account or a T account. So assets, we have cash, debtors, stock, and computers, and the respective totals. Then on this other side, where we have liabilities and capital, we have bank overdraft is a liability, creditors is a liability, cooperative loan is a liability, a long-term liability or loan, and then you have capital. And you can see they are balancing. We have a total 130,700 shillings. Number 9, highlight 4 measures taken by producers to ensure consumers are protected when using their products. Not the government, but producers, those who produce. How do they ensure that consumers are protected or their interests are taken care of when they buy their products? So 1, setting fair prices or minimum retail price. Some companies do that, like Coca-Cola. 2, manufacturing quality or high standard products. 3, use of correct ingredients and less harmful ingredients. 4, to ensure correct weight or size of products is manufactured and released to the market. 5, they can reprimand traders or distributors who exploit consumers in terms of hoarding or hiding items or stock or high prices and other exploitive activities by traders. 6, avail a variety or large quantities of products and avail that in time. 7, complying with government regulations like licensing, advertising policies, location, health standards, etc. Number 10, state 4 benefits of a public warehouse to a consumer. Remember, we have 4 types of warehouses: public, private, free, and bonded warehouses. So this is a public warehouse. How does it cater for consumer needs, or how do consumers benefit from this? Remember, consumers do not keep their products in any warehouse. They depend on traders who keep their products in warehouses. So we are jumping from the public warehouse to consumers. Remember, in between you have traders, wholesalers, retailers, transporters, distributors. So what are the expected answers for the benefits to a consumer? Constant flow of commodities. That is a benefit to a consumer because they keep on consuming or buying products. 2, fair prices, since traders store at lower prices than in other warehouses. Bonded warehouses charge a lot of taxes, hence increasing prices, together with private warehouses. Improved quality of products. When you store products in a warehouse, some products improve in quality, like honey and such. The warehouse stores the items till such a time the goods are needed. So the consumer will benefit from constant flow of products. Preparation of goods on behalf of or for the benefit of the consumers. In public warehouses or in any warehouse, there is breaking of bulk, sorting, blending, branding, packaging, etc. So we move to question number 11. State 4 advantages of using email for communication by an enterprise or a business. How or what are the advantages of using a computer, actually email, to communicate in a business? 1, it gives first-hand information because you will target the recipient as the sender. 2, it is suitable for confidential messages since everybody has a private email account or address. It is relatively faster than other means or some other means like letters. There is permanency of the message and retrieval. It is relatively cheap to use than letters and other means. There's no possibility of hijacking of the message. It can send messages over long distances. Complex messages can be sent, like charts, videos, flow diagrams, written material, etc. One can send large documents or bulky documents without necessarily having to be charged for that bulkiness, like in postal services. One can send to multiple recipients at a go. One can send written or visual or video messages. It can be detailed, the message. One can access the message or email anywhere in the world. The recipient can access the message anytime, and still the message structure is retained as you sent it. There may be immediate feedback in case the recipient is online when you are sending the message. Number 12, highlight 4 reasons why all motor vehicles are required to have insurance cover. Insurance enables compensation of other parties in case there's loss or damage or there's accident by vehicles. 2, insurance instills confidence to passengers and business people that they are protected. 3, insurance saves individuals or companies money to replace lost items in case of loss. 4, it is faster and easier to replace the damaged vehicles and property, since the insurance company will cater for that. 5, reduces loss or replacement or repair cost to an owner or a company in case a vehicle is involved in an accident and loss occurs. Number 13, the following information relates to Musiku traders for the year ended 31st December 2011. Sales, 800,000, general expenses, 120,000, commission income, 40,000, margin, 20,000. Remember, margin relates to gross profit against sales. So we are required to calculate 1, markup percentage, and 2, net profit for the year ended 31st December 2011. So margin here is 20%, which is also 20 over 100, or 1/5. And when we go to markup, markup is a function of margin because markup relates gross profit to cost of sales. Remember, gross profit and cost of sales should be equivalent to sales. So markup also uses gross profit. So this function 1 is representing gross profit. And remember, sales are equated to gross profit plus cost of sales. So if margin is 1/5 of the sales, then markup will be 1 over 5 minus 1, because the difference between sales and cost of sales is the gross profit. This one is this one here, which is gross profit, which is common to margin and markup. So our markup will be a quarter. Therefore, our markup percentage is 25%. Then we look at net profit for the year ended 31st December 2011. We have our general expenses, we have commission income, and also we have a gross profit that we look at, or we will look or calculate. So markup is gross profit over cost of sales, and margin is gross profit over net sales. So net sales is 800,000. So our gross profit will be 800,000 multiplied by a fifth, which will give us 160,000. So to ease this up, we draw a trading profit and loss account so that we see it clearly. So we have sales, cost of sales, and then the difference, as we had said, is the gross profit. Then we bring this gross profit down, we add commission received, and then we deduct the total costs or total expenses or general expenses, 120,000, to arrive at net profit, which will be 80,000. We move on to number 14. State for importance of computing national income statistics in a country such as Kenya, where we get the gross domestic product, gross national product, net national product, net domestic product, and such, and even per capita income. So what is the importance of computing those statistics? One, to compare the performance of a country over 2 periods, this year against, let's say, last year or another year that we actually computed the national income. 2, to compare the performance of a country with other countries. 3, to check the level of development or progress. 4, it gives relevant information about living standards of citizens. 4, it helps the government to target profitable and sustainable sectors. 6, it is a requirement by donors in case you want donations, grants from donors. They need to see how you are performing. 7, it is used to budget or plan for citizens, among other answers. Question number 15. The following table shows the demand for sugar in a certain town between the years 2006 and 2010. So the year, the quantity demanded in tons. So we have 2006, 50 tons. 2007, 70 tons. 2008, 85 tons. There is an increase. Then we have a decrease. 2009, 72 tons. 2010, 65 tons. These are years. These are tons of sugar demanded. So the question is, state 4 factors that contributed to the trend in demand for sugar between 2008 and 2010. So this decline, this is a decline. We need to note that first. Between 2008 and 2010, there is a decline in the quantity demanded. And remember, our product is sugar. We need also to remind ourselves of the uses of sugar. Sugar is used in hot drinks like tea, coffee. It is also used in cold drinks like soda, juice. Also used to make or manufacture or bake confectionaries like biscuits, cakes. Used to make sweets. It is used as molasses for cattle and such, among other uses. And we do not have alternatives for these, except alternative products that do not use sugar. But we cannot say that we replace sugar with something else. But we can say we have alternatives for tea or coffee, for juice or soda or water, like that. But we cannot say that we have alternative for sugar. So our expected answers are: 1, the demand decreased due to decreasing or reduction in purchasing power or consumer income level. 2, increased prices of sugar may have brought about a reduction in demand. People opted not to buy sugar and used their money to buy other products. 3, change of taste or preference to other products and not related products. Like people decided to take sugarless tea, sugarless uji. In case of juice and soda, they decided to be taking water. Instead of taking biscuits or cakes, they decided to take yams and such, and others. Then, this point does not apply. Decrease in prices of similar goods. We remember we are talking about sugar. You don't have similar goods. That's why it's highlighted here, and even this. But then we have other relevant points. Decrease in quality of sugar would dissuade people from buying a lot of sugar. Decrease in industries that use sugar products. Some industries that bake cakes, biscuits, or make juice, or even make other products that use sugar, decreased or closed down. So there was a decrease in use of sugar. Decrease in population, hence reduced market. Increase in taxation that increased prices of sugar, hence less imports. We have low sugar production by existing companies. We have inadequate distribution methods such that not everybody got to access sugar. Question number 16. State 4 reasons why it may be necessary for the government to encourage new farms to be located in the rural areas. 1, to decrease loss levels or chances in case of war. 2, to encourage regional or balanced regional development. 3, reduced rural-urban migration. 4, reduced congestion or disease outbreaks in urban centers. Another one, to create employment in rural areas, among other answers. Question number 17. You are to enter up the purchase journal and returns outwards journal from the following details on 2011 October. So, October 1st, credit purchases from Helen, 20,000. On that, credit purchases from the following: Dan, 12,000, Tom, 13,300. Then, on 5th, goods returned to us by Tom. Returns from Tom. So, we have the purchases journal. So, Helen, we bought 20,000 worth of goods from Helen. From Dan, we have 12,000, and from Tom, we have 13,300. So, this is the format or the structure of the purchases journal, and also the purchases returns, sales journal, and sales returns journal. So you have the date column, details column, ledger folio, invoice number, amount. But here, this is the credit note number because this is a returns. So you write the full date and you give the details, whoever is involved. Then the ledger folio, it is the purchases ledger. Here, purchases returns. So the invoices involved here are invoice number 1, 2, 3, and the respective amounts. And then the total will be posted to the purchases ledger. Remember, purchases journal gives its details or content to the purchases ledger or account. The same, we have this structure or format. Here it is the credit note number. And in our case here, we've written 001. And the amount will be posted to the purchases returns ledger or account. So, we have question number 18. The recent data indicates that a large portion of Kenya's population comprises of the youth at the ages of 10 to 20 years. State 4 benefits of this to the country. Remember, you have not been told economic benefits. It's just benefits generally. And remember, we have 10 to 20. So the ages that are allowed to work here are 18 to 20. But let us look at the answers. So we have cheap and large pool of labor because we have many youths. We have large market for final products. We have high creativity, innovativeness. The youth are very creative. It attracts low labor costs to companies because there are many competing for jobs. We have enhancing growth of local industries due to cheap labor and market, among other answers. Number 19, state 4 factors an entrepreneur will consider when evaluating a business idea. Evaluating a business idea. It's not a business opportunity. It is about evaluation, not source of business idea. It is evaluating a business idea, where to invest, which business to invest, and such. So, the first answer, if you write type of business, it is equivalent to type of goods or services to offer. So you should not repeat this. It's the same thing because the type of goods and services that you will offer will determine the type of business. Then we have the amount of capital required to start or run the business. Will guide you on which idea or business to do. Profitability of the business. The demand or market for the products, production methods or technology to use, the competition levels, the source and quality of labor needed to run or produce in the business, nearness or location, nearness to the market or customer's location will also guide you on which business idea to invest in. The government intervention measures or policy or influence in terms of taxation, terms of location, terms of licensing, and such. Complementary industries or services that will support your business. Then we have access or transportation services for goods or employees or even customers to reach you. This is related to location. Future prospects or sustainability of the business idea or even expansion. Then ease or difficulty of copying the idea. If your idea is unique, that business idea is worth venturing into. But if the business idea is easy to copy, you may not sustain that business for long. Others may copy that idea and you may not get enough market to sustain your business. Question number 20. State 4 reasons why a country may find it necessary to control its imports. Why would a country want to control its imports? That is what it buys from outside. 1. When a country's foreign reserves decrease or dwindle. 2. To encourage manufacturing by local industries. 3. To control imported inflation. 4. To control dominance by foreign industries. 5. To prevent the collapse of local industries and subsequent loss of jobs, among other reasons. Question number 21. Highlight 4 characteristics of money. This is simple, just highlighting the characteristics. We have portability. Money should be portable. somebody said that in another country that had experienced hyperinflation, you were carrying money in a wheelbarrow and receiving items from a supermarket that could be carried in the pocket. That is wrong. Money should be portable and should have some value, stability in value. Then you have durability, so that it can be used for long. Malleability, ability to be coiled or coined or minted. Then divisibility. We have different denominations, 1,000, 500, 200, 10 shillings, 50, like that. Divisibility, so that you can give balance or change very easily. Acceptability. Money should be acceptable by those who are using that money, so that they can have or they can value that money. Money should not be easily forged, so that we do not have loss of confidence with that currency. Then it should be homogeneous. Similarity. If you take a new note or a coin and compare it with another one, except the serial number, there should be no other difference. Then it should be scarce to maintain its value. Cognizability. You should recognize money very easily. Question number 22. State the factors one will consider when choosing a means of transport. Not to be considered, one. So put yourself in the shoes of a person who wants to choose a means of transport for his or her business. So we have the cost of hiring the transportation or the means of transport. 2, flexibility of the means or the convenience of the means of transport to serve you. 2, the availability of the means of transport or even the systems where you run that means. For example, roads, the railway, e.t.c. if you choose railway transport. 4, speed of the means and distance. Then carrying capacity of the means or size or quantity of goods. 7, care for special goods or equipment. 8, need for comfort. 9, value of goods to be transported. And the last but not least, accessibility of the place. And not the means, the accessibility of the place where you are transporting the goods or where you are going. Number 23, indicate whether the following types of taxes are direct or indirect. Type of tax, then state. This is guided by the impact or incidence of tax. So corporation tax is indirect. Value added tax is indirect. Income tax, like salaries, is direct. Custom duty is direct. You pay at the point of entry. Number 24, state 4 classifications of goods and services. You must state the whole classification. There are either public or private goods. There are either final or intermediate goods or work in progress. Then we have perishable and durable goods. We have free and economic goods. We have producer and consumer goods. We have material and non-material goods. Number 25, state 4 challenges that a business without a plan will encounter in its operations. So you have started a business. It is existing already, but you do not have the business plan. You do not even have the marketing plan, HR plan, financial plan, e.t.c. So what are the challenges that you would encounter or the business would encounter? So we have poor marketing strategies or not reaching sales targets, and also not maintaining or retaining loyalty by customers. 2, we will have demotivated employees who will slow down work because they do not know where they are going and such, or even their targets. 3, inadequate capital or resources because you have not planned for anything. 4, poor financial management. 5, wastage of resources. 6, underutilization of resources. 7, unhealthy human relations due to lack of division of labor and direction. Next one, exhaustion of workers since they can be assigned any duty. Next one, non-compliance with government regulations. Another one, lack of hitting the set targets or objectives. And last but not least, collapse or dissolution of the business. This is just a model of business studies paper 1. More will come. Thank you. Remember to subscribe to my channel, Eddy Karis, and to this video so that you can highlight more that is coming, or you can be notified of more beneficial videos.